Hi, and welcome to this short webinar about the importance of self-promotion and branding. My name is Christer Jansson, and I live in the north of Sweden. Outside for the moment, we have over 2 meters now, and yesterday we had minus 17. Today it's a little bit crispy, warm, like the summer wind, only minus 4. So what is this seminar about? We do know that branding are very important for our companies, but the world has changed a lot. Now it's important with your own branding as well. And your branding need a voice. That's you. That means you need to start self-promote. What we do know in research is that self-promotion is the thing that is closest linked to how much money you do. So we're now going to talk more about making money, so self-promotion, than other things. There are other things in life that are more important than money. As long as you have money. If you don't have any money, money is important. It's like intelligence. Intelligent people say intelligence is not the most important things because they have it. But the people who lack it, for them, maybe it's more important. So just let me share my screen and start with the presentation. So here it is. So you are your own brand. That means everything you do is recognized by other people. If you're too quiet, people will not notice you. So in a way, you need to brand yourself to actually make a career in your company. If you're a salesperson, you actually need to brand you so your clients, your customers know who you are. That's really important. So what about branding in many cases? I worked with this for over 40 years. I always branded myself and made my own career. Since 36 years, I had my own company together with my wife. And today we are all over, we're building up over Europe and most connected to actually this concept about self-promotion for sales, mostly for salespeople, but also for managers. So to be good is not enough today. The picture here is Bianca Ingrosso, a famous Swedish young lady that today have her own talk show, coming from an actor family and a music family, but she made something different. She became an influencer and made her very visible. So it actually helped the whole family be more famous, making more money, and she is a multi-millionaire today. And she's good. Is she the best one? No, maybe not. Maybe a lot of people doesn't think that, but she's good. But also she's so good on branding that it helped her own family. This is what I'm telling. If you brand yourself, everyone can do that. And then you actually succeed much, much better. So what we are talking about is visibility management. Companies has a marketing plan, how to advertise, how to use the salespeople. But do you have a plan for yourself? How you're going to make yourself visible in an ethical way? There are some people out there who do it unethically. They steal from others. They say they did it, but it was you who did it. But if you don't have your voice and tell you did these good things, someone may be stealing, because everyone out there is not nice, and we all know that. So you need to make yourself visible. That's really, really important. That's the first thing we need to think about. And when people notice you, you can get recognition. That means who you are, your brand. They become aware of you, that you exist, that you have done something. And then you get rewarded. That means you make your career faster, you got the order or whatever you're after, what your goal is. So you always need to work visibility. And then we need to talk about what that is as well. And this is Visibility Managed, the 8th habit of successful people. You read the book, Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Successful People? Yes, that's very true. made that research and wrote that book, but she's very popular in Sweden anyway for the moment, and I suppose in many other countries. But don't forget the eighth habit. This is the strongest link to make money. It's that important for you to make money so you can do what you dream of, build your family, build a company, continue living good in your company. You do need to work with visibility management. Natural self-promoters is people that have this natural. They just do it. They don't have any problem with it. Most of us know this guy, Dr. Phil. I have lectures for psychologists for over 15 years at the Stockholm University Psychology Department. Not about branding and self-promotion. Actually, I'm there to brand myself in a good way and try to be a good practical teacher compared to the professors in the university who knows a lot. I'm the one who used the theories practical in real life. So I talked about Dr. Phil and said he's the best psychologist in the world. I can say most students don't agree. Here in Sweden, they think he's maybe even too American, but he is actually American, and in America, that's great to be American, not a problem. But he earns like he was the best in the world. He earns fortunes. I don't know any other psychologist in the world that earns that he would be the best in the world, but he earns like he is. But he started, as you all know, with Ofra. He had a plan to be visible, and then he got popular, so he could make his own show and build up that. And I do think he's doing it very good. Not bad enough. Are there other psychologists who can be better? Yes. But he made it visible, and he made psychology more understandable for a lot of people as well. I think that's good. It's like my generation remember Carl Sagan, the man who made astronomy, the universe, understandable for the rest of our people, and made it interesting for a lot of people to look up into space and look at his program. But he was not the best astronomer in the world, but he could explain, and he made it visible for everyone, so he earned like he was one. Same there. So what are these people doing that we need to learn from? The first one is position yourself. So what is position? Yeah, that is actually, they always where the light are. They're always in the beam. They are there when the customers need to see them. They are there. They're on the shelves. And I normally say, is there anyone I can call today that can change my life? Do you know clients, if you're a salesperson, that you would love to have as a client, but you never call them? Do there are managers that you know are important to help you make your career, but they don't even know you? They don't even know what you're good at. So how can they choose you? Even Madonna, when she wanted the actor role as Evita, and she actually was not thought about that role of the producer, but she went down and sold him that she will be the perfect Evita, and she got the actor role. Isn't that fantastic? Even stars like Madonna need to sell herself to get what she wants. Can you dare to talk to people that could be really important for you, that could change your life? Are you ready to call them? That's what we mean by position. Or do you procrastinate? Instead of calling, you say it's no idea. They will not listen to me anyway. Or other excuses you can have, so you do something else instead. Then you will never reach your goals. Style. Is there something you can do with your style so you get remembered in a positive way? Because if I need only to do one visit as a salesperson, as an example, and my competitors need to make 4 to be remembered, I'm ahead. I have it easier to actually get the order as long as my product are fair good enough with the competitors. If I have better products as well, it's maybe even easier. But the first one, the style can't happen if you haven't positioned yourself, if you haven't made that call, if you haven't talked to that person in a network event, for example, where you should mingle, go around, do you always talk to the people you know? Or do you actually talk to people that would be important for you? Before you go to this networking event, do you know what people are there? Can you identify some of them that are more important for you than others? That's how you should work. And go up to them and brand yourself in a good way. And branding, of course, is not to tell how good you are all the time, because that will be bragging. You need to be interesting in what they have to offer as well and start a conversation. You need to create what I think is so important between those people, create contact. Contact is the quality word here. As a salesperson, you can do a lot of visits, but you'd never get a really good business discussion. You just make numbers. I want you to make numbers in contacts, because if you just do meetings and doesn't really get a business discussion, a really good contact, you're just a professional visitor. And then, of course, how often do you need to repeat these to reach your goals, your targets? Everyone can do this. And most trainers know that, but most people don't. So, position. Is there anyone I can contact today that will change my life today? Think about it. Pause. Please pause my presentation here. Take a paper and start thinking. Are there people there that are really important for me that I should take contact with for a new job, or clients, possible customers, managers if you're in a career? Take 5 minutes, just relax and try to write it down. That's the first thing. When you know that, of course, the next thing will be book a meeting with them. Yeah, you can do that on telephone, calling them online today, on different media, connect with them on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, whatever you find them, and talk to them, create a contact and start discussion and say you want to meet them. Style. Is there anything or you can do or something about my styles that I will remember even more positively? What is your brand? This guy is also Swedish, because I work a lot in Sweden. That's why I have Swedish examples. He is in the judge in the popular program Idol in Sweden, and he always in that program be the nice guy with constructive feedback. He even now have a program where he helps dogs and helps dogs out to others to show his empathy on that. He's also a fantastic musician, writing songs, have severe stage fright, but started to confront the fear and actually made a really good performance. And I think that helps him too to make his career. He's already successful, but he's starting to get even more successful. And in Sweden, I think most people like him and love him because of the friendliness and empathic he shows. But that's his brand. What can you do? Again, stop my presentation, put down a paper, talk to your friends. What is your style? What can you make more visible? Don't change your dialect, for example. That could be a good idea. I know an Australian lady that works in the States, and she has not joined any Australian network, because there she's just another Australian. She's joining American networks, and she's from Australia, and present herself and given everyone a small koala, so they really know she's from Australia. And she's also working with branding, sales co-reluctance with people to help them get rid of it, of course, not anything else. That would look like when I'm out in Europe and talking about this, I could give every participant a moose, because we have a lot of them in Sweden. When I was young, I have ties that were very different from everyone else, and I even have got a present on a lecture I had from the people who arranged that one, and said, "We know Christer like the most awful ties in the world, so we try to find the most awful we can find on our island." That was Åland when I had my presentation, and sorry to say, it was really ugly, but I loved it. My taste maybe is different, but I got very well known for my ties those years. Those other things. But is there anything? Make it stronger. Do a little bit more about it. But do it in a positive way. So people remember you. That's important. And then, of course, how many times do you need to repeat this? How many calls do you need to do? Typically, the sales funnel or ladder or whatever you call it, for others who's not in sales, is how many times do you know this presentation? How many times do you need to present what you have done in different groups, internally, externally, to actually get the chance to make a career? And remember, I'm talking repetition for money, but with a good style, a positive, ethical style. Now comes to the crucial point. Everyone knows that this is important. But some people can't do it, like this guy. He tried to escape. Or is it an oyster who actually want to hide? Some people do not want to do it because they feel too scared. And instead, some people procrastinate, do something else instead of make that meeting, that calling. When they got a greater chance, someone tells them, "Can you make this presentation from the CEO tomorrow?" They say, "Hey, you're much better at that. You do it instead." And they lost the chance because they maybe suffer from stage fright. So why is it so that a lot of people doesn't make this, or doesn't even think it's important, or are scared of it, or procrastinate instead? I know a lot of sales managers that say, when I retire, I'm going to write a book. 1,000 excuses why people can't do another sales call this day. If you're a sales manager, you may understand. The principle of attention and reward is very important. We once thought that the manager would take care of you, but the manager will take care of himself. As the same, good manager take care of the people, yes, but a lot of managers have so much to do. They have full time, so you actually need to take care of your own career yourself. And then you need to be visible. And when you are visible, because you have done good things, you still need to do good things. Then you can get attention on what you have done, and then you can get the rewards. So salesperson is commission. As your own company, it's also salary, because if you get more orders in, you can deliver them, you also earn more money. And you can support your family. Or you can build your company even stronger, so you can actually hire people in sales, helping them develop and develop your whole company. Your visibility management work for self-promotion. Then you need to know, where do you need to be visible? Where are your clients? Where are the important people that can help you succeed with your goals in life? Are they on different social media like Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, so you can contact them there? Are they on webinars? You can make yourself visible, invite these people. Holding lectures for people so they know what you can. Meet, talk to organizations, mailings, articles. Do you write that? What you think, what you have done, what is important. Creating events, different official medias, other things. Where do you need to be visible? If you have the whole population as your possible clients, you need to be visible for the whole population. If it's just sales manager you want to talk to, yes, look, where are they somewhere? And you just talk to them. Is it CEO? So what is it? Is it in your company? What people actually are important for you to make your career? Then you look for them. And where are they? How can you talk to them? And what style should you have to be remembered positively? That is your personal brand. And maybe you need to work with that now and then, back and forth. And have you seen whatever you see in your local Idol or American Idol? You see during every week, they actually working with the brand with professional help, of course, but still some people have some severe fright to actually go on the stage and actually make a good performance. I do think some of them that are so nervous that we don't really see how good they are, but the colleagues have seen it when they are relaxed. For that, they can get help so they can actually do it much, much better. I hope they get help for that, because there are help out there based on cognitive behavior training. We can get rid of all these problems. And of course, you need to repeat this. And how often? And where? Important. So the simple model for this is motivation. That is your energy. We define motivation a little bit different than leadership people do. Motivation is the petrol in the tank of your car every morning. That is very important. Or the electricity in your wall. So you have these 220 to 240 volts. So when you plug in your computer, it will work. That means, do you have energy enough? We can call the motivation can do. You have enough for the whole day to actually do your visit, your calls, or talk to the people that are important for your career. And that should go to your goal focus. This is what you want to achieve. Do you actually know what you want to achieve? Do you know why it's important to reach these goals you have? What is the reason for that? Or is it just some manager decided you to do it? If you are a manager, do you actually help your salespeople to understand how important it is for them to reach their goals? So if they do that, the company will actually help them reach their goals. Are there a link between that? Really important. So people really want to do this. So you need to connect the company's goal with the individual goals the person has. Some manager tells me, I don't have time for that. If you look at in sports, most coaches actually know what triggers their players, so they can connect the goals the team has to the individual person goals, so they really want to succeed. That also means you may have some old habits that need to be changed into new ones that are more successful. Because a lot of us procrastinate. In the world of sales, we call it sales core reluctance. And our researchers have found 16 different types. From easy to understand, yeah, I can self-promote, but not on the telephone. But if I meet them on the street or in a bar, no problem. But not on the telephone. That's telephobia, of course. Of these 16 types, averaged by salespeople, they have 5 of 16 per person. Some people have it so much, it's actually dangerous their work. They don't have good production. Some people doesn't have that much, but it actually made them average performers. Top performers have much less of this, of course. But the good thing is, through cognitive behavior training, when you know what your issues are, what 5 of these 16 stopping you to reach your goals, you can actually reduce these types. And they are driven by fear. So you actually reduce the fear. And instead, you invest your energy in what you want instead of being scared. Some types of these 16, you don't feel you're scared. For example, telephobia and stage fright is very easy to really feel in your hands, bumping hearts. but just to be arrogant, think you're better than someone else, and you're afraid of being too pushy, too aggressive, so you wait for the right moment, and some people still waiting today for these people. That you don't really feel. That just has developed to behavior that's stopping you to contact people or stopping you being liked. So they don't want to do business with you. So the fear of self-promotion is actually based on fear. And that is all your feelings, thoughts, and behaviors that stop you to be visible and actually stop you to reach your goals. Just remember, visibility, style, repetition to reach your goals. So are you ready to do something about this? Have you taken this 5 minutes off and looked what people are important for you? What style do you want to have or develop? And do you know your reputation? In many sales companies, they know how many field visits they need to do with prospects and clients to reach the goals. Do you know that? If you don't, start measuring yourself to find out. That's important. So the first thing, you need to be aware that this is important if you're going to reach your goals. The other part is you need to assess it. We use a test called SPQ Goal FSA. You can find it on the net, depends on what your country are in. The company, I represent Europe, so if you want to do that test, you can call me or send me a mail and we can do the test. It's about, including feedback, it's around 600 euro. That's the money per person. And when you know your issues, you need to admit you can see these behaviors that the test have catched from you and see your problems. And then you need to take the next step to apply countermeasures, actually methods from cognitive behavior training that will reduce your stage fright, telephobia, or whatever of the 14 others you may have, so you get much, much easier to be visible. We saved a lot of salespeople doing this, fired salespeople who actually become top salespeople in 10 weeks because they're well trained. They just didn't do the number because of too much energy, went it from motivation down to sales reluctance instead of being used to do the work you hired for, selling. And if you don't call, all your product knowledge, sales training skills, everything you know have no value. It has value when you have a client in front of you. Due to sales reluctance, you maybe sell, but not enough because you don't talk enough with clients. So one way to work with it or handling it, it's something we call thought realignment. Which is actually, this is how the brain works. What you say to yourself affects what you feel. That affects what you do. So if you procrastinate and you do other things, or you feel scared when you're going up to the stage, your brain telling you something that makes you feel scared. That wants you to avoid the situation, calling, book the meeting, or on the stage and make the presentation. If you want to change that procrastination, that you drop it, you don't take the chance, you need to change what you feel about it by changing what you say to yourself. Think the difference. If you love to be on the stage, you will take every opportunity. If every call you do to a possible client, you know they can be the one that helps you succeed, that make you one of the top salespeople in the world, as long as you dare to call and book meetings with them. If you don't do that and you know who to call, your brain is actually procrastinating. And then you have one of the 16 types that are actually stopping you. When I know the type from the test, or other trainers and sales reluctance know your problem, they can help you out. Remember that. It doesn't need to be so. And remember, it's contagious. It takes only 8 weeks until a new hired salesperson have the same problem as the management in the company. So what I'm actually saying, if the CEO of the company has stage fright, it takes 8 weeks until a new employee salesperson starting to get stage fright. That is called due to the core reluctance express itself as attitude and values about selling and initiating contact with prospective buyers. Salespeople also have less of core reluctance than other professions, or they wouldn't succeed and stay in the job or even be average producers. But due to the sales profession and the work that needs to be done, it costs salespeople a lot. But it also costs other people a lot because they miss opportunity in their career, even if they are really, really good in the job. Some people doesn't really know that are important for them. During one of the recession in the States, our researcher looked into people who got redundant, compared them to people who kept the job, and it was a stronger correlation between the art of self-promotion or the fear of self-promotion and keep the job. People who lost the job and made redundant were all more core-reluctant than the people who kept the job. If you looked at the people who made redundant and looked on people who quickly got a new job and others who become long layers and took long time to get a new job, the people who were quickly had less reluctance to self-promotion than the people who actually took much, much longer time to get a new job. So it's important with self-promotion all the time. Here you have the 16 types. You can walk in to our website and look in what these are all about, but very quickly, doomsayer, worst case scenario, over-preparer, too much time on preparation, can develop an art of being good as a crocodile, big mouth, small ears, they never listen. Hyper-professional image, your image of being successful is more important than creating contact. So you always need to be in the center of all discussions. And it's costly. You need the important gadgets to show them you're successful as well. That is like playing successful instead of being one. Rule reaction, secretly ashamed of being in sales. Yielder, afraid of being too pushy, too aggressive, so they're still waiting. Oppositional reflex, a reflex to never agree with your trainer, your manager, and if you don't succeed, it's always someone else's fault. Can like afraid dogs bark a lot, which can scare some people. Stage fright, afraid of saying to group. Social differentiation, afraid of selling to people that are more educated, have more power, more money than you. Friendship, doesn't get help from friends or use friends. Misusing is different, but a lot of friends maybe can help you. Why don't you talk to them? They may have contacts too. Or maybe they need the things you're selling. The same with family. Reference aversion is the same, but with clients. Do you ask client, can you recommend me to? Telephobia, no problem doing this, or book meetings as long as I don't need to do that on the telephone. Online prospecting discomfort, I don't like this new technique. I'm scared of that, so I don't prospect online. Or I don't like complex selling that take a lot of time. I maybe also have the patience for it. It's too much people. I want a quick sale and call the next one. Some people even feel discomfort to upgrade sales. Sell a product that is more suitable, that maybe cost a little bit more for the client, but they don't do that. And some people have even problem to close the order, to ask for it. All these, you understand, can cost you money. But all these are learned, and you can actually do something about it. A few examples. Over preparation are people who are over analyzing, act with restraint. They're always busy. They're all prepared for every phone call, but they don't do them. They prepare to do them, but they forget to do them. Yeah, they do some, but not enough. The time they use for learning more, to actually be more skilled in their product or services and in the client they're going to call, takes too much time, so they doesn't get the money back. But they do get more skillful. Normally reserved, really knowledgeable people about the product, service, and so on. But it can bleed into the conversation, and then, yeah, I told you before, they can behave like a crocodile, big mouth, small ears. They talk too much. These are great salespeople, or can be, as long as they start listening to the client and get out of the chair and do meetings or calls. Hyper professionals, they need to be more than average. Different reason for that in the background, of course. Crows instead of prospecting. They that must be a wrong spelling. Preens instead of prospecting, I would say. The feathers, they always try to look good, on their best. They're more in the mirror than than anyone else. Have a tendency to blaming others when they don't succeed. Maybe focus on the 2-3 big clients instead of working on everyone. So they seldom succeed, but if they do, you will hear that the last 10 years, the business they did 10 years ago, the big one. You remember, the big one they did 10 years ago. Sorry, in sales, you need to perform every year, every day, every week. Can be fanatically tamed of image and credibility and later fight hard for it. Can also, when they succeed, suffer from affection and manner myths of success. For me, my parody of these guys, normally guys, there are a lot of ladies too, but research says some more guys that have this problem. The guy with the Armani suit, the Rolex shirt, shorter left sleeve, so you always can see the watch. And if you don't say anything about it, they will do. If you're going to talk about your last trip to London, they will say, "Oh, I've been to London many times," and they take over the whole discussion. Very learned. Feel the meaning of prospecting. Someone else need to do that for them. So some companies actually pays a lot for companies that book the meetings for guys and ladies like this. And they're coming out and they think they're kings, and they don't sell so good because of their, of course, behavior. No wrong to be dressed nicely, to look good. But if you need to do that and you need to focus on that, you may have a problem. Yielder, the most common types of all for salespeople all over the world. Requires recognition from the manager, avoids conflict. They rather say yes than no. That means they normally have a lot to do because people put works on them. Are afraid of being perceived as too pushy, too intrusive, too aggressive sellers, or unprofessional. People with a high yield tendency see themselves as relationship sellers. Isn't selling all about relation? These people think it's only relation. Relation be more important than talking the business. Kind of very big, difficult to close sell because they maybe then think they can miss the client. So they normally let the clients take the decision. So some of these have a lot of prospect, even proposals, but they never put them down to business. They're waiting for the client to do that. Telephobia, another quite common one. In Sweden, it's actually quite high on sales trainers. Imagine that. Hesitating to use the phone as means to connect with potential customers or promote oneself through the telephone. So they mail instead. a lot of mailing. They find other ways of actually connecting with people, or use online on the new media, but they don't call. Normally no problem with face-to-face contacts, but are great on finding alternatives. I think in Sweden today, the telephone has a small comeback actually. We do know we need to maybe use the telephone for book the meetings that we do online later, because telephobic people like to see the person on the other side. And online, you can actually do that. But you still need to find people, and for some people, it's easier you call them. Much easier. And both the jailer and the telephobia is two of the most costly when we look on generalized salespeople all over the world. Of these 16 different types, which are most costly to have, could be different in different industries, of course, different countries, but on average is jailer and telephobia. All of them cost you money, but jailer and telephobia are really, really deadly. So, yeah, I just talked about it. What's the research shows? If you look on low, medium, and top performers, this was a study we did for almost 5,000 salespeople. And look on the motivation in our test scales. Low performers in all the companies were 56, around 56 on average. Medium performance around 67. Top performers the highest in motivation. So motivation, the fuel in the tank, the volt in the wall are really, really important. Do you have enough with energy to perform all day? That's important. And then we look on goal focus. The same on goal focus. Want to perform. If you have the petrol and you want to perform, you're going to succeed. Is that enough? Yeah, it's the start to actually see that you have things that need it to be really, really good. Motivation, energy in the wall or petrol in the tank, it's all about how you feel, how you take care of your body, your health, your psychological health as well. As you know, are you in divorce that eat energy, then you don't perform as much. If you have problem at home or with your manager, that's same. So leadership as a sales manager is really important. And your goal focus is really important as well. Then we'll look in how much to procrastinate. And you see again, low performers procrastinate much, much more than medium and top performers. They have top performers have more energy, more want to do, and have less hindrance to do it. That's why they perform better. It's not harder than that. And as I told you, the two most costly is jailer and telephobia. The other types cost as well, but the importance is to see the less reluctance you have, the more energy you have, the more you want to succeed, the better you perform. If you're a sales manager, you hire people like this. If you want to be a top performer yourself in your job, this is a guideline, what you need to do. If you are in sales, this is maybe even more than a guideline. If you want to be a top performer in sales, you need to actually see that you have the motivation, you have the goals, and not so much hindrance to initiate contact with prospective buyers, because then you will have a problem. And what do it told you in the beginning? To be successful, you need to position yourself. That means you need to create contact with the people that are important for you. Number two, you need to have a style that people remember you. And that style, of course, in sales, you have maybe different sales techniques, different models you follow. But in this, you need to be you. Find your own style. So people like doing business with you. They remember you. Because all salespeople want to solve, I hope anyway, help their clients on the other side to get a better life with the products and services. Or help them doing the job easier because you have products that can help them do that, or services that can help them do that. like I try to do with this test, to find out what the problem is, and then with cognitive behavior training, help people get rid of it, get the motivation up, get goal focus up so they succeed. A couple of years, one of the trainers, internal trainer in a big logistic company, saved 37 or 40 salespeople that were all fired. He convinced the management that he could help these people to keep the job. He said, you need to recruit 40 more if you fire these. I know they're low performers, but they're well-trained. They have done all the sales technique. They've been in this industry for years. They know it. They just perform bad. And he went in, he got the assignment and said, okay, done. He tested with our tests, the SPQ Gold FSA, found out the problems, went into cognitive behavior training with them. And when he started with a group, there were 40, 3 dropped out, 37 stayed. And these 37 people all kept the job. They went from, as a group, landing 20 new clients a week to landing 200 new clients a week. And they were going to fire them. Much, much cheaper than actually recruit 37 more people. Because you know what recruiting costs. And the time you need to invest and train the new people into your company before they start being productive enough, which is research from Gartner Group, by the way, takes around 8 months. Depends on the industry, of course, as well, and company. So if you thought this was interesting and want to learn more, it's a book written by Susan Dudley, the daughter of the researcher, George W. Dudley, who actually started this research with Shannon Goodson. And Susan here has written it together with Trelita Bryan, who was George's right hand in all statistical mathematics. And she's a great person too, but is a PhD in mathematics. They'll help George to do all these statistic things that need to be done in things like this. All I thought about is based on evidence research, checked many times. It works. If you have a problem to self-promote, remember, you can do something about it. There are methods out there. You can get help as well. You can start buying the book. It's on Amazon. For now, thanks for me. And I hope you liked the presentation. And I hope you all will succeed. Good luck to you all, and thanks for now. If you want to be contact me, please. Here is my contact details. And thank you very much for listening. And take care. Bye for now.